Deficits in Ohio schools are becoming an all too familiar theme these days. So what's the answer to making sure each kid has the resources they need for a quality education? Fox Toledo's Sean Hegarty's been in search of that answer. He's on special assignment now with what he's found.
Well, I can tell you, Laura, that the problems in Ohio are not unique. We've contacted all 50 states to see how they fund schools, and many are similar to Ohio. So they have the same problems. Basically, with property values down and unemployment up, schools are suffering.
I think we have a structure in place that will get us to where we will fairly fund all school systems. I wouldn't say that we're totally there.
We started in Columbus with Governor Ted Strickland. Here's part of his solution.
We expect and will expect going forward as local systems receive state resources that they use those resources in accordance with the evidence-based approach.
That evidence-based approach basically means figuring out which programs work and then funding them, an approach supported by some advocates.
First, identify what it is children need in terms of educational opportunities, put a price tag on those needs, and then fund those needs.
Bill PHILLIS with the Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy has been part of several lawsuits where the state Supreme Court has ruled that the way Ohio funds schools is unconstitutional. Recently, the funding breaks down like this. About 46% comes from local property taxes, about 45% coming from the state, and 9% from the federal government.
The current level of federal funding will not be sustained and perhaps should not be sustained, but I think it's appropriate now because of the effects of this recession.
Governor Strickland says the state should get to 60% while using the evidence to show which programs work, therefore getting the money. But Republican State Representative Randy Gardner tells me that for the next few years, control should be in the hands of local school districts, not the state, because more state mandates without money doesn't work.
Historically, it's been a matter of just let's throw a little more money at the problem, as opposed to sitting back, taking a step back, and identifying needs of students and a formula that will address those needs.
And some needs are not being addressed well.
In preschool special education, that salary basis, which is how the funding formula is set up, is the 1989 state minimum teacher salary schedule, which is $17,500.
The structure is in place, a reasonable structure that would lead to a constitutional system. However, the money's not there.
I don't think every school has to be like every other school, but I do think that every school should be expected to provide a quality education.
All right, so what we found is that no one has found the magic formula for getting more money into the schools. Now, in our research, we found in states like Mississippi, there's a ballot initiative to classify bingo parlors as gambling and then tax them and then use it for the schools. But in Ohio, the Constitution was worded that tax revenues from casinos do not go directly to schools. They instead go to the county, so that won't work for Ohio. Now, tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, find out what parts of state funding that one superintendent says are just plain wrong. Reporting live, Sean Hegarty, Fox Toledo News.
All right, Sean. So what do you think about how much Ohio spends on kids when it comes to school funding? That's our feedback question. And Ryan writes that it is simply not enough. Patricia agrees, saying when you get cheap on education, you get what you pay for. But Yo Joe 45 emails, for the most part, it's up to the student to learn and up to the parents to push their child. Money isn't the problem. Your thoughts and opinions are still welcome through Fox Toledo's Facebook, Twitter, or email.